Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Infinite Crisis Issue 6. Now, as you know, Infinite Crisis was a 7-issue series that was meant to cover the return of Superboy Prime, Alexander Luthor, and the original Earth 2 versions of Lois Lane and Superman. And as you know, back in 2020, I did cover my review on most of the issues of Infinite Crisis. And the cover mainly has Superboy Prime in his sort of armor-like suit, seeing destroyed items of Superboy, Wonder Woman, and Batman. So it starts off how, we see how Batman's team are getting ready to take on Brother Eye and the other OMACs. We see how Hal says, "John, your ring is sparkling like Gardner's. Started when I got close to that new blue beetle." And so they pretty much see that all of these Earths are crashing and colliding. And we see how Blue Beetle gets freaked out, that it's somehow connected with him with the Olmarks. And we see how basically Brother Eye sends out an army of OMACs after Batman and his team. And of course, OMAC has been reprogrammed by Alexander Luthor into helping create the sort of newer and better Earth. We see how back on the original Earth 2, Superman is now horrified at everything that's happened. We see how Clark, the new Earth Superman, says, "If we're at all alike, beyond the uniform, I know how much you loved her, and I'm sorry." And we kind of see how Clark now, the Earth 2 Superman, realizes his mistake and says, "I made a horrible mistake." And so we kind of see how Lois and even the new Earth Superman still have feelings that this Earth can be saved and that they need to band together to set things right. And we see how Superman now realizes he has to do the right thing, and they have to get back to the original Earth 1 to set things right. We see how Wonder Woman says, "Which one is Earth 1? And so we see Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel back on Earth S. We see an Earth based on another DC comic series. We see one with the Legion of Superheroes, a Western one, the sort of Bizarro universe, as well as seeing the Super Son series, which was basically Bruce Jr. and Clark Jr. So we see how Alexander Luthor fuses other Earths to create other alternative ones. One of which he does end up creating is a sort of Aztec kind of Superman and Batman one. And we see how Alexander sort of sees how anytime he makes another Earth, it ends up getting destroyed. So we see how at Stone End, the other Mystics try to call up basically Spectre, and they see that the host is someone else, and Spectre is sort of called up. And so we see how Phantom Stranger tries to talk with Spectre in getting help. So we see how Spectre looks at one of these Mystics, which is Star Sapphire, who is meant to be someone known as Deborah, who punishes her for what she's done with her actions, and ends up getting blown up to thousands of pieces. And we see how Nightwing, Superboy, as well as Cassie show up to sort of stop Alexander Luthor and destroy the tower. And we see how Superboy goes against the OMACs and takes on the other threats. We see how Batman and his team try to, get inside the station and using Metamorpho to make some air. We see how the team all get ready. And this is a moment where we see Mr. Terrific and Black Lightning getting to know each other. We see how it turns out, since Mr. Terrific doesn't have any powers, he's completely safe from the Olmacs, and go in to shut things down. We see how Alexander Luthor plans to get the original Earth 2 and Earth 3 by fusing it together, and believing that an Earth with Lex Luthor and Superman working together can work. we see how they end up seeing Earth 3 versions and sort of other versions. We see how Firestorm and the others destroy the planet Earth, and we see how Alexander Luthor loses Earth 1 and 2, which has been brought back to normal. And we see how the original Earth 2 Superman realizes how far Alexander Luthor's going with this. And we kind of see how he ends up being attacked by his other captives. And so we see how Power Girl says, "Where's my cousin? Where's Lois? They are no longer needed alive, and neither are any of you." And so we see how Black Adam ends up killing off Psycho Pirate, ending his threat. And so we see from a huge speed that Superboy Prime's returned. So we see how Black Adam tries to punch him down. Since there was no magic on Superboy Prime's Earth, he still can take it like a champ. And so we see how Superboy Prime's action sends Black Adam back to Earth 3, which he was originally from. And we see how Superboy Prime wants Alex to bring back Earth Prime, and says, "I'll do anything to get it back. Anything!" And we see how Martian Manhunter tries to take him down. We see how the other captives try to sort of hold up and restrain Superboy Prime. And we see how Batman plans to shut down Olmec, who tries to guilt trip him. And we see how Batman manages to shut things down. We see how basically Superboy Prime tries to go for round 2 with the other Teen Titans. And we see how Superboy takes on Superboy Prime. We see how Batman, Mr. Terrific, and that shut down the Olmecs and getting the captives safe and sound. And we see how Batman's got a plan to stop Superboy Prime and the others at Superman's Fortress of Solitude. And so we see how Alexander Luthor has managed to found Earth Prime. So after throwing Cassie aside, we see Superboy at his full anger. And after speeding him quickly, we see how it destroys the tower, bringing back old elements of the sort of pre-crisis and back to New Earth. After this, we see Superboy Prime happy and content he managed to help save the day. And this is the story. So, issue 6 is not too bad. We see Superboy Prime at his full potential. You can kind of tell he wants to believe he's doing the right things, and you can tell from the other issues like the Sinestro Corp story and the one with Superman and the Legion of Superheroes, is that it's meant to show him at his full core. So I think this issue definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.